Thank you for joining me. This is Laurie's Little Studio. I'm Laurie. Today is, and we are going to be, this one is a wreath. So I've just drawn a circle right there, and I'm going to be doing a very tiny little wreath. So I'm using my number 1 Craft Smart. Actually, it's not a number 1, it's the number 0. And we just get a really fine point, and this of course is watercolor, the sheer. And I don't want mine to be perfect because it just doesn't work for me when I'm doing a wreath. I'm following this outline, but that's all it's for. Kind of a guide. And in my mind, the first thing I'm doing is willow. And then I might do some grapevine, like so. It's a little thicker than willow. And then go back to willow. There's some grapevine. Grapevines are a little thicker than the willow branches. If you use actual, real, honest to goodness willow branches, you have to use the very top where it's touching the ground, that part of the willow, or you just can't bend it. It won't do real well for a wreath. So realistically, we would have the thicker grapevine, and then layer on and in and around and so forth would be the willow. So I'm basically just painting little swirly, curly Q-y kind of lines on the paper, and I'm trying to use varying shades of brown because even one branch will have more than one shade of brown. So you kind of want to make sure that you're incorporating many different flavors into, especially something like a wreath where you're going to have a lot of different parts. And then after I get the base part laid down, I'll just start adding my twigs. I want kind of a twiggy, sort of messy looking wreath with little Y branch type. You'll see in a minute, I think. Yeah, I'm starting to add the little Y in there. And I'm not paying a whole lot of attention if they curl or if they're straight. However they end up looking is fine. A lot of those will end up being covered up with the little tiny green leaves that I'm planning to paint. We want to make sure that we're going in the same direction. Not every single one of these little twiggy wreaths will have been built using branches going in the same direction. Sometimes they will go in one direction on one half of the wreath and then flip and go the other direction on the other half. So we're just going to finish up, add a whole bunch of little squigglies and twirlies and twiddlies, and it'll be done. Okay, so there's kind of a twiggy wreath. And this time, we're going to add some little tiny green leaves. And I am mixing 2 darker shades of green together. They're not the same shade, but one might be a hooker green and the other might be hunter. I'm not sure. Now to get the little leaves, I'm just going to use the top portion of this little tiny 0 paintbrush by just tapping it on my paper like that. And I want it to be an inky paint, but not soaking wet. Okay, And I'm just going to go tap, tap, very randomly. Gives a little bit of an ethereal look to this wreath. And don't forget, we're going in one direction and then we'll turn and go back the other way. And of course for spring, it could be an Easter wreath. There we go. I don't know if that helped. Okay. Now I'm going to add some red berries. And they, of course, will be really small, not large. And then for added interest, once this is completely dry, I will add a little bit of this white gel pen just to kind of separate some of the colors a little bit, kind of add that dimension. But that doesn't have to happen today. So I'm not sure what I'm going to call this little guy yet. I don't know which direction I'm going to have him go. Kind of like that. And kind of like that. Probably this right here. Well, I did not get around to adding the little white highlights with the gel pen, but I didn't do it on purpose. I thought it just looked a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, not vintage, but it just has a certain look that I'm going for, and I wanted to just keep it that way. So I did not add the white. I could do it now, but I chose not to. I named it, shockingly, Little Wreath. And then I finished up this one, yes. I did give it some kind of snowflake looking drops and drips. And it wishes you a Merry Christmas, but the name is Berry Christmas, because apparently I can't write Christmas. That's okay. And then I still have my little snowman. I've got Berry Christmas. I have Winterberry Pine, of course this one, and then Bright Christmas. And these are all the rest, and that's it. I'm not painting anymore, not because I don't want to, but because I am literally running out of time for all of my other projects. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. I would really appreciate it and would love to see you back here. Thanks for watching. Bye.